Hello to everyone and welcome to Energy Capital News. I'm Ana Tafoya, and today I'm so pleased to introduce Ed Brost, Managing Director for Innovation and Sustainable Development at Carbovate Development Corp, an associate of the Bowman Centre for Sustainable Energy. I'll start with our first question. What do you think about the assumption that despite the energy transition and the advance of EVs in the global market, we'll still need oil for the decades to come?
I'm not, and I don't know anyone else who is denying that we're going to need oil for decades to come. The question about whether we're going to need oils for decades to come or not really is more about what will the price be. Keep in mind that it was only a couple of decades ago that everybody had a film camera. And today you can still buy film for a film camera, but it's not like it was 20 years ago. Same with Blu-ray discs. You can go into an electronics store. Chances are they don't even sell a fax machine, but you can still get them. And so it's not really about whether we're going to need oil for decades to come. I certainly think we will. The question again is what would be the price? And keep in mind that EVs present a continuous downward pressure on the price of oil.
So just to illustrate it, how many EVs cumulatively will it take to impact oil prices, and when might that occur?
How many? It's fairly easy to do this arithmetic. How many electric vehicles would it take to cause us 2 million barrel per day disconnect? Miles per gallon, miles driven per year, and how many barrels of fuel, diesel, gasoline, do you get out of a barrel of oil? And if you do that arithmetic, you end up with a number, depending on the assumptions, as low as 30 million EVs around the world. And if you're very conservative, and it could be as many as 40. So 30 to 40 million vehicles, that range. Then you ask me when might that occur? Well, that's a little more difficult, but not impossible to come up with a notion. We already have 10 million vehicles on the road today in the world, EVs, which represents somewhere between 25 and a third of the way there already, 25% to 30% of the way. In 2020, 3 million EVs were sold worldwide. So if you do a linear extrapolation of that, you're looking at 20 more, an additional 20 million sold to late this decade. However, as I mentioned, 3 million were sold last year, 2 million were sold in 2018, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 million were sold 3 million in 2020, 2 million in 2019, roughly a million or so in 2018. So when you look at that trajectory, that exponential growth, it's conceivable that we'll have 30 to 40 million EVs on the road by the middle of this decade, not late this decade, which is only a handful, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years from now.